I'm Enzo.
And I'm Reyna.
And this is the Date Night Horror Show. Reyna, oh my God, I'm so fucking crazy right now.
I know, I can tell.
I'm so excited.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
Finally, Halloween season has started.
If only the weather would cooperate.
Yeah, I know for a lot of you, Halloween is probably starting early October. But for us, once we start going to the horror events, once those start opening up, I consider that the beginning of Halloween season.
Yep.
And honestly, we have like 20% Halloween season all year round.
That's true.
We always go to costume events and stuff like that.
But I love Halloween.
It's finally here.
Yes. I can't wait for more costumes and more scary movies and theme parks.
So the first question I have for you is, what is it about Halloween that you like? Like, why do you like it so much?
I love horror movies, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I love that a lot of the channels start playing Halloween movies. So that's cool because there's always something on to watch that's fun.
Yeah.
The mazes are always a lot of fun.
Oh, you mean going to...
going to the parks and going to the mazes.
Yeah.
And of course, I love dressing up, thinking about our Halloween costume and making them and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I love that we get trick-or-treaters. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's for me, Halloween has always been fun because the absurdity of it. I just love how ridiculous it kind of all is in a good way. And then, of course, the darker themes are so horror adjacent. So I always feel like, all of a sudden everyone's joined my club. The things I love.
Yeah.
They like it for a little bit. And, I just have to say, I prefer Halloween season over Christmas season.
Oh my gosh, me too.
And I can explain why. Halloween, it's lighthearted, absurd,
Just fun.
It's just fun. Christmas, as you start to get older and, you've experienced life, you lose people in your life. And Christmas becomes more and more melancholic.
That's very true.
So to me, at this point, Christmas is purely that. It's trying to ignore the materialism, and it's the melancholy of the people that aren't in your lives anymore. That you wish were there, and all that. Halloween has none of that. Halloween is
our
like...
families don't care about Halloween.
Yeah. Halloween is like the fun dive bar of holidays.
That's a good way of putting it.
So, and it's just absolutely ridiculous.
I love Halloween.
You can't take yourself too seriously. And I think Halloween is all about that, you know?
Definitely. I love Halloween. And I also love it because the temperature starts to change.
Yeah.
So you start feeling that crispness in the air, and you just know Halloween's around the corner. I love that.
And since we're vampires, we prefer the winter time.
Yeah.
Because the sun isn't as strong, and this summer has been kind of long. Yeah, so on this episode, as we said in the description, we went to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, and we're going to do a full review of that. And that's probably going to take up the entire episode. So before we get started with any of that, I have two questions for you.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. First off, what movies must you watch to get in that Halloween spirit, to really kick it off?
Definitely original Halloween. Mm-hmm. I love that movie.
Yeah, that's probably one of mine too.
Guilty pleasure movie. I'm throwing it in before I give you my second.
Okay.
Hocus Pocus. I love that movie. It's so cute.
Yeah, it's very Halloween-y
It's very Halloweenish.
It's got all the decor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bette Midler's awesome. And I know, and I have to watch a good slasher, so Texas Chainsaw.
Cool. I'll answer the first question as well.
Okay.
The Halloween series, Halloween 1 and 2, and 3, because 3 is very, very Halloween-y.
Yeah.
Maybe A Nightmare on Elm Street. I tend to revisit the classics during Halloween.
Yeah.
As many Universal monster movies as I can see.
That too.
Because those always get me in that mood. I know, but we watch them. We watch constantly. The Lost Boys. Yeah. Okay, here's my second question. Give me your favorite Halloween memory. It can be from your childhood or our adulthood.
Damn. I mean, I'll give you a few because that's hard. So,
Okay.
the one that stands out the most for me as a kid
Uh-huh.
was one when I dressed up as a witch's hat
Okay.
because it was different.
Yeah.
And I got a buck ton of shit up for it because, kids are stupid. But
Yeah.
I thought it was super cool because my whole costume was a witch's hat that one of my uncles made me out of like poster board.
Those are the best.
But it was so cute.
Yeah.
So I love that. I loved that my parents had a tradition when I got older, when, my sister started having kids,
Yeah.
of having everyone over and they would serve hot dogs and pass out candy and people would come hang out and you would get to see the kids in their costumes because I
Yeah.
love seeing people in costumes, kids, adults. I love it. I love that we get trick-or-treaters here. So my favorite one here is when this woman who was much older came with a Ralph's bag and said trick or treat, but she didn't have any kids with her. That was awesome.
That's hilarious.
And all the Halloweens we've had have been amazing. Like all the costumes that we've done, and
yeah.
we go to Batcave, which is awesome. If you live in the LA area, you should really check out Batcave. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's basically Halloween year round. They
Year
do costume
round.
events
And
year
their
round.
events are
and they're
awesome.
great.
Yeah, they always put on a great.
So whenever you see Reyna and I dressed as different types of themes, it's usually for a Batcave event. So we highly recommend Batcave.
And Scarlett and Sin are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to them. Yes. You bring up a really good point with Halloween.
What's that?
The show of creativity and expression.
I love that.
The goodwill between people. Without any real religious connotation or any of that stuff, giving out candy to complete strangers, to kids and stuff. And then it's such a kid-centric thing too. It's like, I think that's why I like it so much because it incites creativity and absurdity, and I feel like we need that in life,
It's cool to see what people come up with too.
Yeah,
I love that.
absolutely. Yeah.
So what are what about your memories?
All right, so I have a couple memories, and it's similar to you. I have a childhood memory. Growing up, it was four of us, four siblings, and I was the youngest. And my mom, my father passed away when I was very young, so my mom was a widow, so she didn't have a lot of resources. So she's a very creative person, so she would come up with these ideas for costumes. My other siblings had kind of lost interest in dressing up, really. They regained it later on, but I never gave up, and I always loved it. I remember one year, I didn't know what I wanted to be, and so my mom was like, well, what do you like? What are you into right now? And I remember really liking the fiendish plot of Dr. Fu Manchu.
Oh, yeah.
And then Boris Karloff plays Fu Manchu as well in a movie. So we came up with the idea of doing Dr. Fu Manchu, right? Which is so out of left field. I mean, this is a 9-year-old kid in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to dress as that. So... And sadly, I think now I wouldn't be able to do that because it's a little bit kind of yellow face.
Right.
And please, to any Asian listener, that wasn't my intention. I just thought Dr. Fu Manchu was such a cool character, right?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to dress like that. And I've always been a little off the beaten path, so I wanted to do something really unique. And so we put this costume together. We're throwing ideas at each other. I've always said, my mom's my first creative collaborator.
Yeah.
So we're looking at her wardrobe, and my mom's a small woman, so her clothes kind of fit me, right? So I'm looking at this she had this like gold pajamas, and I'm like, gold silk pajamas. I'm like, oh, that could work. And then she's like, well, what about this? And then she throws this pendant, and she just finds all this stuff, right? And then she had this brilliant idea of taking like a pantyhose and making like a the braid for them back. So we have all this stuff together. She cuts my hair to make the mustache, and so it's actually my hair but she makes them. It's fucking amazing, right?
Your mom's
But what was so cool, my favorite moment is when my mom goes, "You need a hat. You need the Asian hat. That's a signature." And she's like looking around the room, right? And then she's like, "I've got it." And there was a fan in the corner. And she just looked at the fan, and she could tell that if she took the top housing off of it, and then she did this thing with cellophane, she basically made the hat out of nothing.
That's awesome.
Out of a household item. And it turned out great. So I get to school and I'm super proud of my costume, right? And of course, some kids, they conform, so they hated the fact that I was doing something so different, and I didn't care. I thought it was awesome. And
it was a very cool costume.
Yeah. So then, the teachers are looking at him. They're like, "Who? What?" They thought I was just some Asian man, right? And they're like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm Dr. Fu Manchu." And I even had like nail extensions and things like that for that look.
Yeah.
Because Fu Manchu, that's one of his signature things. And it was just so out of left field. And I just felt so proud to be on the fringe, And I always since then, I always have. And since then, I still make costumes with you, of course. And I still use that MacGyver sort of thing.
You do. I definitely got that from your mom.
Yeah, it's a grand tradition with my mom. And then I have my sister send pictures to my mom because for her to see. And then we always talk about the costumes when I see my mom. So yeah, I would say doing that. Finding my nonconformity and kind of expressing it. With Halloween costumes was awesome. Yeah, it was just my thing, right? But yeah, Halloween.
And you took me to a whole new level when we started dating.
Yeah, and we're still doing that.
Yeah,
it's so fun. Cool.
You said you had a few.
God, I have so many from our adults. Like going out as adults. I don't even know if I can pinpoint them. Every time we go out, especially to the Batcave events. It's like the greatest Halloween party ever.
Yeah.
So we see amazing costumes, people of like mind, because
everyone
seems
gets
to
into
dress.
It. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's just awesome. There's costumes I've made that I really feel connected to, and I can't really explain why. I have a human fly costume that I absolutely love to wear because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. I love that costume.
Yeah, and we posted pictures of that. So I think my adult memories are more that, like feeling good about what you're wearing, feeling connected to it somehow, and then going to this great event where everyone else is dressed up and having a great time. So
yeah, I feel connected to some of mine too.
Yeah, like which ones?
Zombie for sure.
Oh,
I love being a zombie.
Yeah.
Which I feel like it's been a long time since I haven't been a zombie, so that might be one of the costumes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's probably going to be some zombie night that we can go to.
I hope so.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I love doing the makeup, to be honest with you. That's one of my favorite things to do is zombie makeup.
Yeah, it's fun.
So.
And now, our feature review.
Okay, Reyna, let's talk about Halloween Horror Nights 2019.
It was so much fun.
It was really fun. I was so looking forward to it as well. One thing I want to mention to the listeners is we did pay for the Express Fast Pass front of the line perk.
So worth it.
Yeah.
It's so worth it.
Yeah. It's sort of like seeing your favorite band front row.
Yeah.
So if you really love Halloween, if you really love the horror mazes, which we do, I think it's worth doing.
It's worth it.
Because sometimes you end up in the most popular mazes can be over 2 hours just to go through them.
And we got there around 7:30?
Yeah, by the time we parked, it was almost 8.
So it was 8. The park closes at 1.
Yeah.
And we were able to see all of the mazes.
Very comfortably.
All of them. And if we hadn't gotten the fast passes, we would not have seen all of the mazes.
Oh, absolutely not.
Because we left the park shy of 1.
Yeah.
So, because we
like-
probably hit the
like
last
12:30.
maze. We hit the last maze around 12-ish. And even with Fast Pass, that line was a little long,
Yeah.
but not bad. But yeah, and by the time we go through it and everything, but
I know it's
worth it.
I know it's expensive, but when you think about that, you're already
Yeah.
spending a lot of money. And if you end up seeing half of the mazes,
And
and there
you
were a
spend most of your
lot of
time-
mazes this time.
And if you spend your time in line, that
Yeah.
just sucks.
It changes the psychology of it.
Yeah.
So our review is based on us seeing all the mazes and having front of the line. Because
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
that will affect how
Yeah.
you feel about it. If I waited over 2 hours to go into the Us one, because the Us one was very
Yeah, it
popular,
was long.
you know, it would change my opinion about a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know. So I just want to say that before we get started.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Well, so then I'll start from the beginning. So
Sure.
we go in there, and it's really cool if you haven't been to Universal Studios Horror Nights. I mean, once you go in there, it's pitch black, and they have scare zones, which
Yeah.
are really cool. So they have, characters walking around in different costumes.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they get as close to you as possible to try to scare you and sneak up on you with, chainsaws. No, not really chainsaws, but they're
Chainsaws, stilts.
The stilt walkers were amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Oh my gosh, they were so cool. So the first one we decided to go to was
House of a Thousand
Corpses.
Rob Zombie.
Yeah, and greeting you at the door was Captain Spaulding.
Many.
Remember the first one came when you first walk in outside of the
Yeah.
maze. He was directing people, and when you'd pass, he'd flip you off.
Yeah, it was so
And
great.
his makeup was perfect.
Yeah, you could tell they cast
His face
those
was
guys to
perfect.
that looked like
Yeah.
Sid Haig. Like they looked
Totally.
amazing, and then they had the attitude and the swagger of
Yeah.
Captain Spaulding. This particular maze has been done before. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is that I feel like every year they kind of retune it and get it better. This one is much better than I remember.
Way better. I don't even remember going through it before.
Yeah, I remember going through it, but it was early. It was rough.
Yeah.
It was a rough version. This one is the perfected version.
Yeah. I mean, that's my point. I don't even remember because it was that, it's kind of unforgettable.
Yeah. And so
forgettable, excuse me.
while we do these maze reviews, we're going to try and keep it spoiler free as well. So we'll just keep it general. Because we don't want to ruin the scares.
No, absolutely
What I
not.
would say is, you do see all the characters from the series, and I remember seeing Dr. Satan.
Yeah.
And there's a part where you see him multiple times throughout the maze, but there's a part where it's so well lit and everything, and I was like, oh my god, this looks just like the movie, like exactly like the movie.
Yeah.
And in general, that's what you can expect from Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. They tend to recreate the films, and the sets are movie quality.
Yeah.
Within the mazes.
Some of them are, yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was
It was
awesome
a good
kickoff.
maze. Yeah. I'm glad we started with that one.
Yeah, I thought it was
That
really
was good.
Some really unexpected scares
Yeah.
in there, and the set design was very high quality. The makeup and
Perfect.
everything.
Really good.
Yeah, it's like walking into a Rob Zombie movie.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want to do that?
Yeah, it was really cool.
As long as you're safe,
I know, right?
Yeah.
That was super cool. And then from there, we went to...
We went over because we're basically hitting them as we go.
That's right.
So the next one we went to was The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And it's technically not a maze. It's an attraction that's always there.
Right. For me, it was just okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it could have been amazing.
Yeah.
The thing my biggest complaint about it is probably the makeup.
Oh, okay.
Well, the non-makeup, I should say, I guess.
Oh, yeah. More
Because they're wearing
masky.
masks.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of lame.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think with Walking Dead specifically, what I find scary about the idea of being in a Walking Dead world is seeing a horde. And they don't have enough.
No.
They don't have enough up there.
Yeah.
to get a
It's
horse.
kind of sparse.
The sets are cool.
The set was
they
really
feel
cool.
like you're really in that world.
Yeah, because when you first walk in there, it's like starting from the beginning. You're walking in the hospital,
Yeah.
which was really cool. And then you kind of walk through all the sets. You even go like through a jail.
Yeah.
Like it's really
the prison.
Yeah, the prison. It's really cool. There wasn't for me. There weren't enough zombies. And then the scares were cool, but then when you looked at them, the masks for me kind of ruined it.
Yeah, I think zombies, a big part of the scare of them is their faces moving and
Well, they look like people, not masks.
people,
You know
right,
what I mean?
Exactly.
Like they don't.
And the number, you need a sheer number of them.
Yeah.
I remember when this attraction came to Universal and we went on it and we were very disappointed with it because they were using mostly animatronic stuff.
Yeah.
So the attraction felt empty. It didn't feel like it had any actors in it. They've added actors and that's cool. I just think they got to get that number. They got to get that number up, and they have to make you feel like you're in a precarious situation a little more.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, it was worth going in.
The set is awesome.
Yeah,
The set is really awesome.
right. Okay, so from there, we went to
The holiday one.
the holiday one.
That was a shocker for me. The holiday one.
In what way?
I didn't think it would be that cool. It was so cool.
Holidays in Hell.
It was awesome.
You know what? I have a theory about the mazes. I feel like every maze has a crew, and they probably they have a rivalry.
Which one could be cooler?
Let's try and be as good as we possibly can. And since Holidays in Hell doesn't have a big property behind it, they were able to just go off.
It was probably the best one there.
Okay. Imagine this. Okay, you go through the entire calendar year from New Year's all the way to Christmas, and it's all horror themed.
Yeah.
So you start off and you go through every holiday.
Yeah.
And every holiday is it's like a weird twisted version. Like for Thanksgiving, I'll keep it vague.
Oh my
you
God.
You walk through a dinner table and you're attacked by weird, creepy anthropomorphic things. And then it's funny because when we were going through it and the last portion of it, I'm like, that's all they're going to do for Christmas? And you actually step outside of the maze, and the maze continues, but outside.
That was so cool.
And the Christmas one, they just go off.
Yeah.
Like the costuming on that, the costume design was
Really
great.
cool.
The performers were great. All the sets were super cool. So yeah, it was one of my favorites.
I loved it.
I thought it
and
was
I didn't
really,
expect
really
it
good.
to be cool, and it was really cool.
Yeah, for to offset the cost, of getting the front of the line pass, I got the front of the line once per maze option because the unlimited front of the line is very expensive.
Yeah.
So we could only go front of the line one time per maze, and for that maze, I wanted to go through it again.
I know it was really
so
cool. Yeah,
great.
it was really good.
Yeah, Holidays in Hell was one of the top ones.
So then from there, we decided to go to the bottom lot because that's where most of the other mazes were. Well, a lot of the mazes were.
Yeah.
So we go down there, and the first one we go to is Stranger Things.
Yeah. And that had a massive, massive line.
Oh my gosh. Not for front of the line, but for a regular line, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I felt really bad for
Yeah.
But what was cool is that you're waiting in line and they're playing all the 80s music from the show that was on the show for the second season. So
They need to work on this maze though. I was really disappointed in it, to be really honest. I don't like when you go into the mazes and you can tell you're in a warehouse.
Yeah.
They didn't cover any of the ceiling with anything, so you see the light, it's lit.
Yeah.
And you see you're in a warehouse.
Well, what's interesting is when you're in the line and you're near the back of the line, they have recreations of the mall. They have recreations of the hot dog stand where the kids work, but it's very far away from where the maze begins. So it doesn't help create the illusion that you're in this world. I agree with you. It was in a big warehouse, and it was a maze inside a big warehouse. But you were very aware that you were in this large space. They didn't hide. They didn't hide that. I think the biggest disappointment I had, and I hope this isn't too spoilery, but I'm gonna keep it vague like this. So, if you're gonna go to a Stranger Things maze, you assume that you're gonna see the kids, right?
Yeah.
You only see one.
Yeah.
And it's not the kid you would expect to see. And I think that was a big mistake. There are other characters in the cast you do see, and when you see them, you're excited. But it's not the kids. Like, the kids are the main ones.
Yeah, it's really weird.
You know?
Also, the scares were... You didn't care about the characters that came to scare you. You were like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, the good parts, you walk through... There's parts where you walk through the house.
That was cool. The set was really cool.
And you see all the upside down when the mom is trying to figure out the map
living
for the
room
upside
looks
down.
exactly like the living room.
Mm-hmm. And then there is a part where you do end up in that space. So they are recreating that stuff, but I don't think they have it quite dialed in.
Yeah, they need to work on it.
I think the third year they do this maze, it's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
But this is the first year, and it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's a little on the rough.
Yeah, if I think about the night overall, I would say this was one of the weaker mazes.
Yeah, which was really disappointing because I think it could be really cool. Yeah, it could be really cool.
Yeah.
So maybe it was I could totally see them making that like a permanent attraction.
Yeah, I think exactly. It has a big. It's a big enough of a name.
Yeah.
I just think they need to dial it in a little more. I'm sure a lot of these horror nights too, they have to allocate resources, and I think that's one of the reasons I like it, because I like seeing that because in game development you have to allocate resources. So like, there'll be like online trolls complaining about a particular level in the game, and I'll know the backstory. Oh,
right.
We had to sacrifice this to get this, that sort of thing. And you sort of feel that in these big Halloween events. You see, okay, they put the money here and they saved here, that sort of thing.
I'm just surprised because, like I said, they put money into changing like some of the storefronts to match. Mm-hmm. You would think, they would continue that. And I could totally see that being a permanent attraction.
Yeah. I'm hoping that they continue to do it, or they do it again.
I think they will.
And really, really dial it in, because I think it could be fantastic.
Yeah.
But this first year's
it was a little rough.
Okay.
So
next
then
one.
From there we went to Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, man.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're a fan of the movie like we are, we just saw this movie recently.
Yeah, we
too.
watched it.
We watched it again, and it was for the clown episode. We thought, oh well, maybe we'll mention some things in it. It was like stepping into the fucking movie.
Yeah. So while you're waiting in line, you see the tent exactly.
Yeah.
The spaceship tent.
Yeah.
And
I think that comes to your point. You're seeing this tent, and it's in it. Okay, it's maybe not in a forest, but it's the tent.
Yeah, but it's the tent.
So
it
and
immerses
it's glowing.
you.
Yeah, and it's glowing. And then
they have actors in the.
They have the actor on the outside, who's playing the old man.
Yeah.
And he's he does the whole scene.
You're spoiling it.
I'm not really spoiling it, because that's the first thing they're going to see when they see the maze. So
I know, but it was a cool little added thing.
It's a great little garnish.
Yeah.
And then you go in, and it looks exactly like the inside of their clown ship.
Their clown ship.
Every little detail.
Yeah.
Okay. It was
even
crazy.
the clowns.
Yeah. Okay. I have to say something. Okay.
I know what you're gonna say.
So the clowns were done so well.
Yeah,
they looked exactly like the film. And they're like 7 feet tall. They're super big and scary and stuff. Well, the first one that jumped out in front of me, I wanted to run up and hug. Because I was so excited to see how much
they did a good job.
It was like I felt like a little kid responding to Mickey Mouse. Like, I was like, that is so cool. Every detail there. their little laser guns,
everything,
the smirks on their faces, like everything,
really well done,
spot on.
Yeah.
So if you are a fan of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, it's like stepping into the movie.
It was awesome.
And it was fantastic. Again, it didn't really scare me because I love those clowns. I think they're so cool. So it was more of a fun thing. But yeah, I thought it was so authentic. It was so well done.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
And then from there we went to Creepshow.
Yes.
That one was really cool.
Show.
That one was also very well done.
Okay. So I rarely get nerdgasms. I nerdgasmed.
You totally did.
I completely horror nerdgasmed.
Especially with the first scare, you nerdgasmed big time.
Oh my God. That one was so well done. Like it takes you through every sequence, every story sequence. Yeah. And it's the lighting is lit the same way the film is. And if you remember, like Father's Day and The Crate.
Yeah.
Imagine stepping into those scenes.
Yeah.
Creepshow was
it was really cool
for me.
Yeah.
And it starts off, you actually walk into the comic book. And so you're seeing all these panels and all this stuff, and you're just taking it all in. And, I was like looking at every image, intently. And of course, that's how they misdirected me and got me.
Mm-hmm. That's how they got you on the scares. It was really cool. Very well done.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it sort of vague, but when you walk into the crate, when you walk into that story, and that creepy ape monster thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that weird
when
thing.
you see it physically there staring back at you, it is so cool and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly lit, the blues and reds. Mm-hmm. I loved the Creepshow one.
Creepshow was really
so cool.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of Creepshow, like, oh man, you'll
love this.
You will love it. You will have a complete horror movie nerdgasm.
Yeah.
Walking through that one. That one was so cool.
It was really cute. I mean, well, it was cool. But what I really liked about it, like you said, the comic book panels and the posters and really neat, really cool. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, and the creepers everywhere. Like he takes extra time to make sure he scares you as much as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
which I got messed up a few times by him. Like he scared the crap out of me which was so great.
Yeah. And to get to Creepshow, we didn't mention you go through this long tunnel to the back lot.
Oh yeah.
And
there's a scare zone there.
It's a scare zone, so it's like strobe lights and fog.
Quarantine.
And like quarantined, and there's just like characters in there to scare you, and you can't really see them very well because there's a ton of people, and then
flashing
lights and the fog.
Yeah.
And they scare the crap.
You know what's funny? We were walking through that maze, or we were walking through that area to get to them.
Yeah.
And then we're walking through this thing, and they're playing like this punky industrial music and flashing lights and lots of people and people screaming because they're laughing, and you see all the creatures walking around, and I remember thinking to myself, this is my ideal.
Yeah.
Like this, you could make a Disneyland out of that horror stuff, and I would totally be there. Like that would be my absolute favorite thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great.
Cool.
I'm glad you mentioned that one.
Because it was a cool area to walk through.
Yeah, sometimes the scare zones, especially over the years, sometimes the scare zones have been super cool and effective.
Yeah.
I remember one year there was a Purge one.
Mm-hmm.
That
cool.
Scare zone.
That scare zone was awesome.
You get off the tram and they're all waiting for you in those creepy masks.
Yeah.
So cool. It was similar to that sort of experience. Even though it's not a maze, it's still a big part of the night.
It was kind of like a maze, though, because it was dark and
you had to go through it.
You had to go through it to get to the back lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So then after there, we went to Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
It was cute. That's all I can say about it. It was cute.
Ghostbusters is one of those mazes that if you're a huge fan
it's super
of
cute.
the film, and it's the original film too, so it's it's harkening back to that one.
Right.
So that was kind of neat because there were actors in the mazes that looked like
And outside.
That looked like those actors, and they were playing the roles, and that was really cool. Of course, they had all the other creatures that you might see in there. Slimer made many appearances in that maze. So if you like that, I didn't think it was scary. It was more like, really this cute. Is cool and nostalgic.
Yeah, it was cool to go through, especially because that's like, part of our teen years and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
I remember a particular character scared the crap out of you.
Yes.
Are you a god? It's that one. She scared the crap out of you. I remember that particular
Totally
scare.
did.
And she looked just like...
She did.
Yeah, exactly.
It was scary.
Again, really high production values. Mm-hmm. The theme isn't quite as scary, but
it was worth it. It was really cute.
Going,
yeah, it was really cute. It was well done. And it was cute. And then from there, I think we went to the Frankenstein one, no? Yes. Frankenstein and Wolfman?
Yes.
That one was another one. I think it's like all these non-movie ones were the best ones almost. This one was super cool. Oh my
God, it was so great.
The costumes, the characters were so awesome.
The Wolfmen were really creepy.
And Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And Bride of Frankenstein.
Ugh. Yeah. So they took all that classic stuff, but they kind of amp it up.
Yeah. They made it way more creepy.
Feels modernized, but it still feels like Universal.
Yeah. Totally.
All the Wolfmen looked sort of like the Benicio del Toro. Mm-hmm. Wolfman, a little bit more savage looking.
Yeah.
But still super effective. They didn't do like the classic Lon Chaney Jr. look.
Yeah.
They did more of the Benicio look. And then the Frankenstein was really zombified looking, but still looks like Frankenstein.
Still Frankenstein, but gross.
Yeah, there was one moment, and I'm going to keep it vague, but there was one moment that I absolutely loved where you saw the two characters right next to each other.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to pass through them. Yeah. And it was really scary. It was. And I swear, every guy in Wolfman makeup was so committed.
Yeah.
It was like going for it.
They all were.
They were so scary.
Yeah. They did an awesome job.
I felt like, maybe because it's those characters, I'm sure it's horror fans under all that makeup, and they're like, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
And it had a very classic Universal look. The sets did, of course, you had the Mad Scientist Lab, things like that.
Yeah.
And it was super well done. And I have to tip my hats off to Universal for keeping these characters alive and updating them and making them feel relevant. Because
they always have one. But
this one was really, really good.
This one was really good. Yeah. Although the other one did scare me. I think that's the first time I've ever jumped off the floor.
Yeah.
Into the air. Yeah. I got scared. But this one was. But they were kind of far away on the mazes of the past. Yeah. This one was up close and
right
personal.
In your face, man.
They were really cool.
The Wolfmen would get right in front of you. They were so creepy.
Yeah, very creepy.
Super cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, that one was one of my highlights. Mm-hmm. And it's probably because I'm a Universal kid, so I just love that stuff. To see it there and not feel tired or old.
Yeah.
And done with so much
and not
spirit.
cared for.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That was my second nerdgasm. Horror nerdgasm.
It was. That totally was. I think at the end of it, you're like, I want to live here.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was walking through a lot of that stuff. I was just like, this is my ideal. I love this stuff. It's so part of my psyche, and it was just so done really well.
Yeah, it was very cool.
That one, I could see how young people might overlook that one. Don't overlook that one. That's one of the better ones.
Yeah.
I thought that one was like a home run.
Totally. You should. Yeah, you have to go to that one.
Okay.
Then from there, I think we went to that scare zone, right? It was like Harvest something.
No, it was I think it was called Graveyard Games or something like that. And it was this little side scare zone that you had to actually go out of your way to go through it. Mm-hmm. It was around the city elements and
of the back lot. Yeah,
and it was super graveyard satanic ritual devils on stilts.
Yeah.
like
I wasn't sure
scary
when you guys
witches.
wanted to go in there. I was kind of like,
Yeah, maybe this will be
like
not
lame,
so good.
but it was good. It was scary.
My god, it was
Up
really
till the
good.
end. Like even when you think you're out and
The
they
still
start popping out,
performers
pop out at you, it was really good.
I gotta say, man, those still performers impress the crap out
Oh
of
my god, they were amazing.
Because people, it's like they think that those are their real legs. I mean, one little push and they could fall.
There
and hurt
was
themselves.
one running on stilts.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah. Hats
Running
off
after
to those
people.
guys, because I mean
Running
they're
after
earning their
people.
keep. Not only are they balancing on those stilts, they're acting. You know?
Yeah. They were super committed
really-
too.
Yeah.
I was at one point I was sitting outside a store waiting for Enzo. He was looking at some horror themed drinking glasses.
Yeah.
And I was already starting to poop out because we're getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
And so I was looking on my phone, and I didn't notice one of them in stilts came up and bent over and right in my face it said, "Get off your phone!" And I let out the biggest scream, and I was like, "That was so not cool, man."
You mean awesome?
It was very awesome. I love that stuff. I live for that stuff.
That was the scare zone that was kind of Asian themed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really cool. So then we walked back through that tunnel, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And then
That's a really smart way of making that walk
yeah,
bearable.
that's a
'Cause it
good
is-
little walk.
It's a good
right
little
there.
walk to
Yeah.
get to some of those outskirt
And
mazes.
it's uphill for a lot of it.
Yeah, and that space used to take a tram to get over to that spot. I remember we took a tram, and then that's when
The purge.
the purge people
Yeah.
were waiting for us, and no one wanted to get off the tram.
Yeah. Because you didn't expect it.
Yeah. So now they have you walk it. So please take some comfortable shoes.
Oh yeah.
'Cause
But you
that's-
have to go back
you're-
there. That's
you're
like
gonna
the best.
Yeah.
That's like the best spot. I would have loved to, if we would have had more time. I would have loved to just because there's a couple of places there you can buy drinks and they have tables and chairs like just to hang out there because it's super dark
Yeah.
and it was just it was like you could hear the music from the tunnel and
Yeah.
it was just a cool little spot.
And that brings up another point is now Universal is serving alcohol.
Oh yeah.
And
That's right.
Knott's, we always preferred Knott's because Knott's did that. So it makes it feel like a cool
Yeah,
dive
it's
bar,
fun.
you know. And there's nothing like going through all the mazes and having a couple beers and, you know, just really relaxing and enjoying the evening. And now Universal is doing that. And that was, I think, a big plus.
Yeah, it was
And they
a
had
total
some
big plus.
good beer choices as
Yeah,
well.
they did.
As well as that.
They have mixed drinks too, but we never made it over to the mixed drinks bar.
Yeah, they had the other
line
Los
was long.
Muertos bar.
The line was really long
yeah.
for that one, but
But that's cool.
it was cool. So then we go back up and we go.
Oh wait.
I
One thing I did that
yeah,
you didn't
I was
do.
getting there.
Oh, okay.
So then we go back through the tunnel. We go back to the upper back lot, I guess it's called. And so I needed to take a breather because the walk for me was tough.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a long to walk.
Yeah.
for sure.
So I hung out while Enzo and my best friend Alex and her sister Lily went on Jurassic Park.
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World, excuse me.
So basically, the old Jurassic Park water ride, they revamped it to be Jurassic World.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to see it. I wanted to see how much they had done to it. And after going through it, they've done a lot. Like, it's very, very different. The skeleton of it is very similar, but it just feels new and fresh, and it doesn't feel old and kind of towards the end with Jurassic Park, it was some of the dinosaurs stopped working. So like they would just be sitting there and you're like, hey, that used to move. So they fixed all that stuff. They added a bunch of new parts.
That's cool.
They are intentionally trying to wet you as much as possible.
Oh shit.
And so throughout the whole thing, it's like, oh no, and then psh, and then more and psh, like
Does it have the big drop at the end?
yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But what I liked about it is they disguise it a little bit.
Oh.
It's not like how the original was. Mm-hmm. You kind of know when it happens.
So it looks like you're riding in an elevator?
Yeah, so it's a little different. And and I thought it was a really nice update, and it completely fresh
That's cool.
take. I'm not a huge fan of Jurassic World. I don't think it was that great,
Yeah.
but it was cool to see it revamped. So
You came out of there soaked.
I was drenched. I was absolutely drenched.
I think Lily and Alex punked you.
Yeah, they did, because Alex said, "Oh, I don't want to get wet." So then Lily put her in the center, and then put me at the end. And I'm like, all right.
You were a gentleman.
I expected to get wet. I didn't think I was going to get that wet.
You were soaked.
But I was very soaked. That one was super fun to do. And that's another tip. If you get this front of the line pass, any of the rides that are open, it's front of the line.
Yeah.
So it's super worth it. The if you want to go on the Harry Potter, if you want to go on the Transformers, it's all front of the line. So you might as well.
Was the Harry Potter one open?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. Maybe not.
I saw it, but I don't remember. If
Maybe
it was open.
I know Transformers was.
Yeah, Transformers was.
I didn't go on it, but yeah, I wanted to stay in the horror space, and I think Jurassic World with the dinosaurs. There's some horror there. Okay.
So then from there we went to the upper lot again for the last 2 mazes.
Yep.
And the one I was most excited about was
absolutely.
the Us one.
Uh-huh.
And that was cool. So when you walk up to it, it's the fun house.
Yeah.
Really nice set.
It's the Vision Quest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so where you start out in, and then you go through it.
Yeah.
And of course they recreate the house, their living room, and the neighbor or their friend's house too.
Yeah.
And the actors they chose for all of them were spot on, amazing.
Yeah. And
amazing.
I got to give it to all those actors, because I mean they're doing repeat performance of the same thing, and it always feels so spirited. Like they do it with so much care.
Yeah.
And a lot of those mazes get really hot, and they start to smell kind of nasty.
Funky.
But these actors they really make those mazes great.
Yeah.
And there were a few reds.
Oh,
women
yeah.
playing red.
And they all looked like her.
Yeah, and
That
they
was
had the
crazy.
right tone and creepiness. Yeah. One thing I would say about the Us maze is that it looked like it was the most popular because it had the biggest line.
It had the biggest weight.
Because people just wanted to see what it was.
Yeah.
But again, it's a first year thing. It's
Yeah,
similar
it
to
needs work.
Yes, it's not that it needs work. It just needs tuning.
Well, yeah.
It needs to be tuned.
Same shit.
Like the rhythm of time of scares needs to be tuned, because all the sets are
The
really
sets are
cool.
awesome. The sets are amazing.
Yeah, you see key moments in the entire movie, and you're
even
walking through
the daughter, but the other version of the daughter, she was cool with the scissors.
Yeah,
she was really cool. And then the little boy with the hood over his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all the characters were awesome.
Yeah, and then while you're waiting in line, of course, you got the music.
I got 5 on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
super cool. Gets you right in the mood.
Yeah.
One thing I would say, and this is kind of a pro tip when it comes to going through mazes: who's in front of you and who's behind you. It can really change the experience.
Yeah, that's for sure.
If there's people in front of you, for example, and they're laughing and kind of going, "Oh, I'm not scared of that," young douchebags doing that. Why go to the maze if you're not going to suspend disbelief? So what I tend to do, a habit that I do, is if I'm in the front of our group, I walk slow, because I like to let the scares reset. And I want...
then you miss them all.
Yeah, I want as many members of my group to get scared, to have those scare moments. So I tend to walk slowly through it. Sometimes people walk too fast, and then they don't get half the scares.
Some are scared.
Yeah, they're scared. They're trying to run out there, I guess. But I don't. I want to stay there as long as possible, and I want to get as much scare as possible. So I would say that, don't take your time with it. Don't rush it,
Yeah.
That way actors can reset and kind of, you get the most out of it.
Yeah.
And if there's people in front or behind you that are being douchebags, let them pass. Mm-hmm. Just go, hey, we're waiting here. Go ahead, because really, a set of douchebags around you can ruin the
It does.
Can completely,
because you're trying to like immerse yourself in it.
Yeah, you're
it's hard.
Clearly, yeah, you're. It's like horror.
Yeah.
If you sit and watch a horror movie and you dissect it, oh, that would never happen. That would never. How did that make? You're thinking too literal.
Right.
You know, you have to.
Right.
You have to open that child mind and kind of allow yourself to experience it in that way.
Yeah.
I think a big part of me and my creative career is keeping that child alive. So I have to do that, you know. So when we're in these, we're at these events, I trigger all that. I'm like, okay, you know, take this in for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, let yourself be scared. Don't overthink it.
That's the best part, is letting yourself be scared and feeling that rush of adrenaline and
Yeah.
all that. I love that.
Yeah. It's a safe way to be scared.
Yeah. So the sets and the actors were great. Mm-hmm. You're right, though. The timing of there weren't enough scares, I don't think.
Yeah.
And the timing of them were kind of off.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a bit of a lull at the beginning, and then it finally kicked into something. It's just, again,
I would have liked to see more characters too, because there were a lot of Reds.
Yeah.
But there weren't a lot of anyone else's.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So it would have been cool to.
I would have loved to have
others.
seen more Plutos, but again, I think it's the child actor thing.
Sure, I'm sure.
You know, I think that when we were talking about Stranger Things, they didn't have all the kids there.
Yeah.
Because they would have to hire kids.
They would. So that's probably tricky.
Probably the work thing.
Yeah, that's probably tricky.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very cool. Mm-hmm. So then from there we went to Pandora's Box.
Mm-hmm. And Pandora's Box was another original. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was actually really good.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. It was kind of a hodgepodge of all things horror and horror related, like a emporium of curiosity sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was in front of our group, so I got a lot of the scares, which is awesome.
Yeah. That's
usually I hide a little behind Enzo, but this year I was brave, and then a couple of mazes I went first.
Yeah.
And in this one, it was relentless. I kept getting scare after scare after scare.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
Okay, so I think that's all of them, right?
Yeah, I think that covered all of them.
Yeah, and again, there were scare zones. There were some scare zones that had different themes. Scare zone that was Asian themed, and all these, you know, sort of like The Ring and, you know.
Momo.
Yeah, all these different. That was super cool. And every performer, if you're listening to this, I tip my hats to you, because everyone was great.
They were amazing.
Everyone was super cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Okay, so one final question.
Okay.
About the mazes.
Yeah.
If you can, what would be your order of best to worst?
I would wow. Okay, so I guess I would do. I really like the holiday one.
Okay.
A lot. The holiday one.
Holidays in Hell.
House of a Thousand Corpses. Creepshow. The Wolfman, Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Maybe Pandora. What am I missing?
Us and Stranger Things.
And Ghostbusters.
And Ghostbusters.
I guess I would do Us, Ghostbusters, Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
And
to
then
mine.
Walking Dead. I forgot about Walking Dead, but I don't count it because
really a maze,
it's
but
mostly an
you will
attraction.
experience it there. So yeah.
I'd probably put that somewhere in the middle before.
Yeah,
the worst.
I think mine would be really similar. Especially the tail end would be really similar. My number one would probably be the Wolfman. Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. Second one, Creepshow. Third one, House of a Thousand Corpses. Fourth, Holiday. Fifth, Us. Sixth, Ghostbusters, and then Stranger Things, the last.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, hopefully they'll get a chance to get that perfected.
Ghostbusters was good. It just wasn't scary.
It just
That's
wasn't
why
scary.
it didn't rank high for me.
Yeah.
But it was well done.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So now that the Halloween season's kicked off and we've done this episode, of course we're going to go to Not Scary Farm as well.
Yep.
And at the end of the Halloween season, or when we go, you know, it may be this next episode or the one after, we're going to crown a winner. So which one did it better? Okay.
Sounds good.
So and the two parks are very different, but we're gonna rate our overall experience with that, and then we'll let you guys know which is the better one. But yeah, it was super fun, babe.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So if you're in LA or you plan to come out to LA, definitely check out Halloween Horror Nights Fast Pass.
Do the Fast Pass.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a good night out. It's a good date night event. So
again,
it's a lot of fun.
What Reyna said about not having Fast Pass, we probably would have seen 4 mazes.
If we were lucky.
If we were lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wouldn't have seen all of them at all. So, yeah.
So happy Halloween season.
Happy Halloween season, yeah.
Show us your costumes too if you want to post your costumes to our
we're going to be doing that
our Facebook page. We'd love to see it. We'd love to see costumes. So first of all, a few shout outs we want to do for some of our listeners and new listeners.
Absolutely.
Is Edie E. Thank you for sharing our clown episode. We appreciate you trying to spread the word for us with your network. Mm-hmm. Thank you to Brooke D.
These are all Facebook posts, right?
They're all Facebook posts. Thank you for sharing on your Facebook page our European horror podcast as well. We really appreciate your support. And we have a few listeners. We have Christopher, who accepted an invite, and Tonya, who accepted an invite. We also have Carrie and Valentine.
Yeah, the Facebook stuff's really starting to take off.
So thank you.
And thanks so much for that.
Yeah, thanks for the support and for sharing.
And if you're a first-time listener and this is the first episode you listen to, I'm just going to go through some of our other episodes that you should check out because we've done a lot of different subjects. We just did the clown episode. We've done European horror. We did the horror couple roundtable. We've done Mad Love, which is love-related horror movies.
Yes.
Vampires, zombies, science fiction horror, The Walking Dead, creepy cabin horror. The list goes on and on and on. New Millennium horror. We've done a bunch of episodes. So make sure to check those out because you'll probably find a bunch of recommendations and reviews that you might be interested in. And thanks again for listening. Again, on our social medias, on Facebook, we're the Date Night Horror Show. So just search for that. On Twitter, we're at date_horror. On Instagram, it's at Date Night Horror Show. And as always, if you want to see our website directly, just go to thedatenighthorrorshow.com. And just a reminder, written reviews of our podcasts on iTunes are the most effective way to help us. And also subscribe wherever you listen to. So if you're listening on CastBox or one of the other services or Spotify, just make sure to follow or subscribe, and that'll really, really help us as well. And it shows us that you're paying attention and listening to the show, which is great.
And don't forget, if you want to post something we should watch and review or post your favorites, please do on any of our social medias.
And we always react and comment to everything. So, cool.
Awesome. So
I think this is it. This is kicking off.
Oh, so excited.
Yeah.
So excited.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Sorry.
Greetings, right fans.
Sorry, I used to be able to do that more.
That was good. That was good.
Creeper voice.
Yeah, that was awesome.
All right. Cool.
Scare you later.
The Date Night Horror Show is written and produced by Enzo and Reyna. All music written and produced by Enzo. with your horror-loving friends and help spread the word.